All right, so hope this video finds you well. We are going to start. We are still on modern programming, and the whole concept is what are the practices that we use in the modern programming. That's what are the modern things that we could find in programming. So that's just the thing. And we choose Python, which is one of the most trending language, and that is it. Okay, let's quickly go. First of all, we should know that let's make a quick review of procedural programming. In procedural programming, the concept of procedural call is used. That means one after the other. Procedure, also known as routines, subroutines, or functions, simply contain a series of computational steps to be carried out. So, uh, the only advantage, the only to get a reusable code in procedural programming, we use functions. But at the course of this lesson, we find out that these functions have limitations, and that's where we start to use class, and that is it. So when the next thing is that procedural programming is a top to bottom. Procedural programming is a top to bottom. It's a top to bottom approach. Object-oriented programming, a computer program model that organizes programs around objects rather than the logic and the function. Let's see it now. Around object and logic and function. When you go to the contemporary world, if you want to build a house, some of them that wants to build if you want to build a house, you don't just okay, you don't just start building. You make plans, right? So at the course of this lesson, we'll see that there are that we how we make plans before we start solving problem with programming. So that's the whole concept. Okay. Now the object-oriented program. In object-oriented programming, we create objects that have attributes similar to real-life objects. Similar to the real-life object. So you can think of any object, any system, anything you can think of one. It can be modeled in object-oriented program. You can think of even your shoes, your bank account, your school students, and any entity at all can be modeled into object-oriented program. The real-life object has some properties. So now, every object has a property and can perform a function. So when you talk of a car now, a car, the property of a car is should have an engine, have a tire. The model, the name of the car, and what the properties. Then the function of the car is the speed, how fast does it work, and that's it. Okay, objects has properties and functions. That's somewhere. Then for you to create an object, let's take another scenario. Let's take another scenario. So when when you talk of object and classes, class is the template that we use to create objects. Class is the template that we use to create objects. So let's take for an example now. We have this. This is the plan of a house. So this particular house, now once you've gotten this plan, can you see this guy that is over here? Just check it very well. So after building this house, we can get exactly what that is coming from this place. And let's see, this is the house now, right? So if we want to replicate this same house in another location, we don't take the whole house. We want to replicate the house, we want to replicate this house. We don't take the whole house. to that location, what do? Simply use this template. So what is the lesson at this point? That a class is just the template. Why objects are things we create from the class? So simple. We can create a lot of objects, so many objects from one class. So that is it. Okay, having understood this now, we are just trying to get you acquainted with object-oriented program. So subsequently, we'll dive into it proper. So the next thing is this house now comes with as somewhat and has some attributes. The house type, the house color, the use case. Note the difference. A use case is a function. So use word call bracket. Okay, that's it. All right. So now let's take another example. We could have a box that has an attribute blue as the color. It could be big, it could be small. So now this this thing can be, we can add another attribute to it for it to be read. Remember what happened? This box still remains the box, but the attribute changes. Do you get it now? So that is it. Let's go to the main thing now. So how do you create a class? A class object contains two types of information. Attribute of the object. Data which defines the state of the object are also known as what? Properties. Any data that defines the state of the object is what? The property. You understand it, for example. So then the functions are the method. The function are the methods. So now let's take another example. What we want to see now is when you have to know the difference between a data and a method. Remember, methods are functions, data are the properties, right? So we'll see how we retrieve them. We retrieve them according to their type. If it's a data, just normal data, we have the way we retrieve it. The same thing happened to the other one. But you should note that at every input, part, if we still take the instance of that house, no matter how you build a house, for you to access it, you must do the particular thing. So no matter the object, there is a syntax in which we use to access them. So that's it. So now let's take, for example, we created a class called bank account. So this class now could come with, we have the title of the card of the class. Then this title is called is a data. Then the question now is, how do we access this data inside the class? We use the name of the object dot this. So let's take another example. This is a function. This is a function, that's a method. How do you retrieve it? We do the same thing and just put a bracket beside it. And that's it. So now, before we continue, you can guess each of these. You can fill in distance. Pause the video and fill in distance. And I hope you got it right. So this is it. And this is how you achieve. So at this point now, I want to give you a little assignment. So when you, after watching this video, this is the first assignment I want you to do from the, this is the first assignment I want you to, I hope you can see the, Hope you can see it properly. So the instruction talks on. The instruction says that you are designing a simple banking system. Each account has a details like account type, balance, account holder, the method of deposit and withdrawal. So now the class name is this, the object name is this. So at every instance, now let me solve this one, then you now solve the rest, right? It's remaining 4, it's remaining 5. So I'll solve this one now, so you understand what I mean. So this name now, what type of data, what type of attribute is it? This attribute is a data. Why? It doesn't follow an option. So how do you access a data? Remember the name of the object is ACC1. Dot. How you access it is on data. Dot what? Name. Simple. Same thing happens here. Age is a data. Let's access it. Access one dot age. Same thing happen over here. Students class. To access it is what? Account dot student. Sorry, this student is a data. No, it's a data. Student class. So this is the simple thing I want you to do. I guess you are not okay. But I've seen a function. So for you to this is a method. This one is a method. So for you to access it, you must say account one dot show info. You must put a parenthesis, and that's it. This one also is a what? This is a data and account one dot nationality. So I've solved this thing. So this is what I want you to do to confirm that we're in the same page. So let's go over to the code. Let's go over to what we are doing. So that's it. Now let's now go to the programming area. No. All right, we'll open up our let's open it up. So now for us to create, after practicing that, for us to create a class is very simple. Use the keyword class. Then what name do we choose? Let's choose that account, bank account. This is it. Once you've written this, you've created it. So even if you create pass now, we are done. So when you print this thing, print, let's check if it's an object. is what? An object. Can you see now that the type of that thing is an what? An object. It's a class, rather, sorry. It's a class. So this class now, you can use it to create a lot of what? Objects. So let's also check something. Let me check if something will work. It should work then. Let's check. Let's create an object. How do you create an object? Very simple. Just write any variable. Let's say account number one is equal to bank account. Let's see. Let me see something. Perfect. So let me show you something over here at the shell. So if you check this shell now, you see it as a subset of, you see this bank account as a subset of this class. So this is just by the way. So let's quickly create it. So we created a class successfully. So you can now clap for yourself. You created a class. This is the class you created. This is what the object. So I can choose to create another object, but this is a blank. You just created a blank what? A blank stuff. So let's give this thing some attributes. This bank now, you can choose to give it some attributes by using the word the. But at this point, we could use div and initialize. INIT means initialize. We are initializing the value, right? Then for you to initialize it, you use the keyword cell. Hope I got the spelling. So now let's give it some parameters. Can you use the word cell? Then we can let's give this in some parameters. Down at the end, I think what we are going to do is write some code to push to create an account. Okay, let's see now. We can say this account tied to the next thing is bank code. The next thing is email. Okay, I think that's it. Bank type, account type, account type. When we are done, I think we are done. So to also initialize this, we use cell dot right to equals to right to self dot bank code equals to bank code self dot email equals to email self dot account type equals to account type. The implication of this is that when we are going to, if we call this thing again without putting any parameter inside it, it will flag error because we have designed our template such that whenever you are calling this thing, since we have used this keyword int, that means this class must come along with this attribute. Do you get it now? So that is it. So let's try creating a simple class. The first one is Mr. Goodgame. Let's say his account name is, title name is Goodgame account. Then we say the bank code. Let the bank code be some alphabet numbers. Okay, YP001 will be the bank code. Then the email will be Ada at best. So our account type. Account type will be saving. Savings. So I've created an object. We have created a simple object now. So the next thing is, remember the last exercise I gave you? Now I've created a class, which is a template. Now I've created what? An object. This is another template. So now let's see the next thing. So let me try calling this thing. So let me try calling this thing. So since we have created it, let's try accessing it. I want to access it, right? Let's see what this thing for, the title for this first bank account. So let's just print it. Print, for you to access it, the out dot, you get it now, dot title closed. So if I run this code now, it will print this person for us. So let's run the code quickly. Let me run the code quickly. Let me run the code quickly. So I press F5. Can you see I printed Mr. Goke? So very good, man. Now let's go over to our code and do one or two things. I just pray this video can be as short as possible. If it's long, I'm apologizing upfront. So, so now let's try creating another object. Can we create a new one? So it's like I will send this code for you, you create more objects and see. So let's create. So how do you create your object? The name of the class. If it has a parameter, you put it inside. If you don't have, just open the bracket and close it. So we have bank account. It has some parameters. Let's say that is the bank what's name. The bank code is 770. Let's put it as 770A1. This is the bank code, and then the email again. Me at you.com. Then the account type, let's see the savings account. Let's say account type is current. Current account. Current account. Sorry for the spelling errors. So now, if I access this is one now. If I want to access this now, remember the order says the first one becomes this, the second one becomes this, the third one. So if I want to access the email, it's very simple. I'll change the email of the second account is now account 2.email. That's all. Don't forget just .email. So the next thing after this now, the next thing we're going to do is let's try creating a method inside that. Let's create a method inside this. This okay. Should I use so this is it, please. It ran and produce this. Okay, let's go ahead. Let's try creating a method. What should this method do? Okay, let me try creating a method. Let's create so that we can call, when you call the method, it will send data to this store data equals an empty array. I'm just trying to create a function. So let me say the store equals. Now we are using self, so we could access things over there. While I'm using self, is a function inside this place that we want to make use of variables that we can find here. You get it? So the main purpose of the course is for you to know what object is all about, and you should be able to create simple object programs. So now that was stored, so my intention is just to send some data to this. Now the next thing we're going to do is you simply already familiar with the arena. Okay, let's try printing this. Let me say student. This array now. Append. For example, let me try printing this inside this lesson. If you want to access this now, you say print student, so bank account dot store data. So we find out it will give us an empty array. But let's just fill anything inside. Let's just fill in 5. You can see 5, right? So let me run this thing and see. You didn't print. Let me confirm why you didn't print. Okay, I've not called it. See. I need to call it first. So now, that means once you've created this object now, let me try, let me print. Or even if I call, if I call it, it will print automatically. So let me try calling this ACCS. I remember, how do you access a function? A method. This is a method. Don't forget. You just write the name of the method, bracket, and that's it. I think, yeah, so can you see it printed this file? So I think let me stop this video so I don't get complex. I'll just feel it's becoming complex for you guys. So, but the summary of what you are supposed to know today is that, let's go to the quick summary, that object-oriented programs, let's go over there. Object-oriented programs are programs that will write to model a real-life object. This object has properties, which can be in state form, or that's in a static form, or a function that's dynamic form. So for us to create this object, this real life model, the first thing we need to know is that we use class. The class is a template. Then we start replicating this using what? The object. So then the next thing is over. You now created a simple bank account. Stuff. So the first thing, you put your name, bank. Let's neglect this store now first, please. Let's neglect this. So now we use this int to initialize. Do you get it now? Initialize it. Initialize the parameters that will be used in the class. So this is it. So anytime you must call this function, you must add this attribute inside it. And that's it. So for us to access it, very simple. For you to access this now, this email now, what do? Just the name of the object, dot, whatever you want to access, the name, email. If I want to do this, okay, I will send you a code. I'll send you a code. I'll send you this code. Then you now write, you now try accessing this thing. I'll tell you a sentence you are going to write and to modify this particular code. I think that's it. I hope the video is not too long. Apologies.